Okay.
Am I waiting? It's a little loud. Can you check and see if it's on?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to share when it goes live or no? Yeah, sure. It doesn't really matter. See if you can share it and pin it. I don't know. I can. I did last time. Okay, do that. Okay, I'll go do that. Oh, good.
Are we there?
Actually, we can test Maddie's mic now. Go ahead and put.
Are you on the?
Hey, what's up?
Hi, Debbie. Hi. I can't see it on the comment screen. Am I on the wrong page? Are you on the? Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hi, Debbie.
Oh, there it is.
You got it?
Yay.
And then did you open it all the way?
No, that's what I'm waiting for it to do so I can read the comments. Oh.
There, it'll show up right here. And then if people can react that way, and it'll like.
Perfect. All right.
You need anything else?
I don't. 10 more minutes and we'll go live. Thanks for hanging in there. We're just setting up. It's Cleveland, Ohio. I hope you guys can all see me and you didn't stare at the solar eclipse. We have one person helping with your questions. Maddie, can you test your mic?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Ray. Hi, Liz. Good seeing you. Liz was one of our speakers at the conference. I'm glad you're tuning in. Can you guys hear us okay? We got a new camera. We got new microphones set up. Let me know if you can hear background noise, music. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you share. Hi, Lori. Welcome. You guys might be able to see my cool new monitor, so now I can also see your comments. Hey, Joe. The studio's starting to fill up with people, so we have you guys live, and we have people here in Handmade Studio live, too. Hi, Connie. Thanks, Kristen. That's a big help. If you were tuned into our last Facebook Live, it was a little bit of a disaster with the microphones. So marketing got a little expense account, and they went crazy. So it warms my heart that you guys can hear us now. Hi, Wade. We're going to get going about 1 o'clock. Make sure you share. If you're on Facebook Live, go ahead and share there. Or if you're watching this already recorded on YouTube Live, or not YouTube Live, just YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. So you can subscribe and share. That would be awesome. Hey, Ashley. Come on in. Huh? Nice wide view. It's warm here in Cleveland, maybe the 80s. Did you guys notice I got my hair highlighted? They told me I was a little too dark. These millennials, I can't take it. And the red lipstick. So make sure you tune in about 1 o'clock. About 7 or 8 minutes, we'll be ready to go. We have this, we have these. Kara, can you grab for me off the shelf coffee, amber, and sugar? I'm going to put those out here. I'm not going to open them. Yeah, the fragrance formulator. So coffee, amber, and sugared. And if we have a wheel.
Oh, a fragrance wheel? Sure.
Yeah, I lost mine. Someone lifted it, stole it. Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started in about 7 more minutes at 1 o'clock. We're going to do a live episode, talk about the upcoming issue of Handmade Magazine, and I'm going to make a brown sugar coffee scrub perfect for fall. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mary. So glad you just joined. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Thank you. 532, is that it? 532.
Yep.
Oh, Liz, I'm so glad you like the formulator. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to do a really nice coffee blend in today's recipe, but it's really been a huge success in letting people kind of formulate their own. So thanks for the shout out. Now my husband's staring at me. I can handle the audience, but him, I'm not sure. These are all the ingredients that we're going to use in the coffee scrub today. Not sure if we can get an up close shot of those. Make sure you guys go ahead and share this with your friends so we can get a big group going. And if you haven't joined our Facebook, Wholesale Supplies Plus, go ahead and join that too. We're going to get started about 1 o'clock, so about 5 more minutes. Grab me a bottle of water, please. Thanks. Well, I could. If any of you guys were with us a few weeks ago, we had a lot of trouble with Facebook Live because the back of Handmade Studio is pretty much built like a bomb shelter. We've decided it is the best place for a fall tornado, and you get absolutely no Wi-Fi reception. So the staff worked so hard and quick to get us all hooked up, and we have a new camera that zooms in and out, so that's great, and new microphones because that was your #1 request. I love the coffee label too. Isn't that awesome? Can you hear now, Tracy? The last one was, we'll go ahead and turn it up. Thanks for the feedback. Can you hear now, Tracy? Daniela, can you hear me? I can turn my mic up a little bit. Testing, testing. There's a slight delay with your comments and what I'm saying, so I'm just going to look over here at the screen. We can look at doing a download for the label. That's a great suggestion. Isn't it beautiful? Maddie's here who designed it this morning.
I just created that.
Thanks, Daniela. Way better. That's what we wanted to hear. At any point, give us a shout out if it gets too soft. That's all right. Oh, great, Liz. Thank you so much. For anybody else who's tuning in, we're going to get started about 1 o'clock, just in a few minutes. So go ahead and share this, subscribe to our channel, and if you're seeing this on YouTube later in the day when we're not live, make sure you subscribe so you get all the new Facebook Lives. We're hoping to do at least one of these a week, maybe more, based on your feedback. Thanks, Mary Lou. I appreciate it. Oh, that Pure Seduction fragrance is awesome. Wade, can you turn the volume down, or if you turn it down, is it still too loud? Sure, here's the coffee label. Wade, before we get started, happy to do that. Liz, we're trying to do one a week. Now that we have the new camera and microphones, it should be a little bit easier. We want to make sure the videos are of value to everyone. We don't want to do them just to do them. So send us lots of suggestions for new videos, and we'll be happy to go. Thanks, Wade. I'm glad you turned it down. I don't want to blow your ears out. Good. If we can get another up close, that's great, of the label.
Hey Debbie, there's a quick question. Do you ship ingredients to APO?
We do ship to APOs to the military. We ship those internationally right now, so you need to order them as an international order, and then we will quote you the shipping after it's packed. Our system isn't yet able to tell the dimension of a box needed for a complex order or the weight of that box, but we ship to a lot of APO addresses. And if you are in the military or your spouse, thank you very much for your service. I appreciate it. Any other questions? No? It's 1 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Debbie May. Welcome to Handmade Studio. I'm president of Wholesale Supplies Plus. Handmade Studio is connected to Wholesale, and today we're filming from in there. So please shoot me your questions in the comment area. Make sure you share with us, with your friends, our site. And we'll kind of get started. This is very free form. I don't talk from a script. It's not pre-rehearsed. So we just kind of go with it. It's kind of like pulling up a chair and a cup of coffee and two friends talking about some really good stuff. First, I want to start with Handmade Magazine. Last month, we updated the layout based on a lot of your feedback. And you'll see, if you haven't subscribed to it yet, or if you haven't bought an issue at wholesalesupplisplus.com, you can do that. But what I wanted to talk about was, if you do subscribe to Handmade Magazine, we have monthly, every 6 month, and annual subscriptions. One of the things you get is this card with 5 free samples that comes with your subscription only, not if you order issue to issue. Last month, I wanted to go over what the samples were. Last month there was a honey powder. You can see that, a packet, and there's honey powder in there that you can play around with. We had a sample of sea clay, a sample of light gold mica, and then we always have at least 2 sniffy samples in here of either popular featured fragrances or something new on the market. We occasionally will put extra samples in, but there's always at least 5. And we just sent our next issue off for September. This is the cover. You'll see there's a really cool cold process soap recipe in there. And there'll be 5 samples that are featured in this that are used either in products or that are good for fall. So warm and cozy is going to be our upcoming theme for September, because it carries you in from school and all the way into Thanksgiving, really. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a plug for that. If you haven't read Handmade Magazine, check it out at wholesalesupplisplus.com. We have lots of issues that you can buy individually. You're going to see I have a new screen off to the right that I'm looking at. I'm not cheating, but I'm actually able to read your comments. Maddie, though, is also on a separate microphone.
Are the samples with a 6-month or 12-month subscription for the magazine?
The samples are with the 1-month, 6-month, and 12-month subscription. As long as you subscribe and don't buy it individually off the site, then you get the samples. So it's really a pretty good deal. Any other questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get ready to make this really cool brown sugar scrub, brown sugar coffee scrub. It's whippy, it's light, it's one of my most favorite recipes going into fall, and we're going to make it live here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set this here because the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to roll off. One of the questions earlier while we were prepping is, can you get these labels? We'll go ahead and get them a template downloaded to the website, so look for a follow-up comment with a link to that. First thing we're going to do is use our KitchenAid. And one of the questions I often get online is, why my foaming bath whip fluffs up and falls down? And most often it's because you're using a paddle beater, which is good for bath bombs, but it's not so good for a scrub and a full exfoliating scrub, or if you're making a shower gel or anything like that. Instead, what you want to use is the whipper. I hope that's the word. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just hook it into our KitchenAid. And I also should say, if you're just starting out and you don't have a KitchenAid, that's okay. You can use a hand mixer. I'm just not that coordinated to do this, the brown sugar, and Facebook Live and your comments all at once. So this is the foaming bath whip. We make it on site here. My husband's company is Naturally Smart Labs. They make this in the back of our building. And you can kind of see it's semi-thick, but this is a really cool product because it'll whip really nicely. I'll just dump it in into a shaving cream, a whipped soap. If you guys saw our unicorn whip recipe online, that used some of this. It's just a really, really cool product. Years ago, it used to be a little bit thicker, but what we found is it had consistency issues. So we changed the way we're making it, not the ingredients, and we find that it's much more consistent. So if you have some old recipes, you might need to sort of play around with them a little bit, but you won't have a consistency problem going forward. And Maddie, if you see any comments, go ahead and read them off because I can't read there. And
that's okay. I just answered a few. They were asking about the magazine subscription. It is $9.95 per month, or you can subscribe to it for $89.95 for the year, which will get you the samples included. But currently, the subscription is only for the U.S. Outside of the U.S., they can purchase individually and include it in their WSP product.
Great.
Purchase.
Thanks. Good question. Okay. Well,
how much will it whip to? From Shelly.
Well, you're going to see here, Shelly. I'm going to put it on. And the amount that it whips up to depends on how long and how high you whip it. We're going to go pretty fast. Let me know if you have any trouble hearing. But you can, and we purposely used a glass bowl. Let me do this so that you can see kind of what's going on in there. Let me try that. Okay. Okay. Can you see that well? If I do that, maybe? Is that better? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can already see it's kind of getting fuller and fuller. So while that's whipping, and let me know if you have any trouble hearing, I'm going to go ahead and use our fragrance formulator to create a coffee, a unique one-of-a-kind coffee scrub. If you're not familiar with fragrance formulator, I have a Facebook Live video on the system. Basically, any one of these 40 fragrances can make thousands, tens of thousands unique fragrances that are just your own. And today what I'm going to do is 5 parts, so make sure you watch that video if you haven't seen it. I'm going to do 5 parts coffee, which is in this case 5 mLs. That's 3. That's 5. And you always want to use a different dropper for every different fragrance. So this one's going to be 3. So there's 5 mLs of the coffee. This amber gives it a real deep, almost a sultry note to it. So 3 of the amber. And then I want to sweeten it up a little bit. I tend to like sweet fragrances. But we're only going to put 2. The coffee is very strong. 2 parts or 2 mLs. The coffee is very strong. And this just sort of tempers it a little bit. These bottles, we don't sell at wholesale. Wholesale Supplies Plus, we use those in our fragrance bars so people can custom blend as they go. If you don't want to make your own fragrance formulator scent, I have here some selections that I recommend. The coffee mocha is fabulous. And for fall, I like the pumpkin mocha latte because pumpkin latte anything seems to do really, really well.
All right, from Susan Marie, if you heat the older whipped soap, does that help?
If you what?
Heat the older whipped soap doesn't help.
Heating the soap will not help keep it fluffy. And to answer the earlier question, look how much, I'll tilt the bowl in a little bit, but it's, I'd say half full now. Go ahead, next question. Do you have another question?
How much did you put in for the bath whip?
I put 1 pound, so 1 pound jar, and it comes that way. It's sold that way.
And Heather asked, when will the new fall fragrance formulary reel be out, as you mentioned in the past video?
Hopefully soon. Maddie, who's behind the scenes, is the one doing the graphic design for it, so very soon.
Probably very soon.
Yep. So what I want to do is I'm going to turn this off, and I just want to lift the whipping utensils so that you can see how kind of whippy and it almost looks like a shaving cream that it gets. So we're going to go ahead and turn it back on, not quite as fast, and I'm going to put all of the fragrance formulator, so that's 10 mLs going into there. Oh, it smells so good. I'm going to whip that up and let it incorporate just a little bit.
And what makes this different to a cream soap recipe?
A cream soap, like an all-natural cream soap, this is a detergent base. It's actually a form of melt and pour soap that's just made a little bit differently so that it can be whipped. So it is officially a cream soap, but it is a detergent based. I'm going to turn this off.
Carol asked, what was the third fragrance that you put in?
I put in sugared. So it was 5 mLs of coffee, 3 mLs of amber, and 2 mLs of sugared. And that's for 1 pound of bath whip, and then you're going to see we're going to get a lot more than that out of this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slow it down just a bit. And I'm going to add 4 cups of brown sugar. If you like coffee grounds in your scrub, now's the perfect time to add the coffee grounds. I personally don't like coffee grounds in my scrub, but that's a personal preference, and I plan on taking these home with me. Sorry, girls. So I get the pleasure of making it how I want it. And then all I'm going to do is scrape some of the brown sugar that gets scooted out to the sides.
Audrey asked, do you sell the base on WSP?
We do, Audrey. It's wholesalesuppliesplus.com, and it's the foaming bath whip, and I have a little surprise if you stick with us through the end of this Facebook Live video. Hopefully our IT department's watching, because I decided about 2 minutes before we were going to go live that I'd like to offer a sale on the foaming bath whip today, because I just love it. Okay, so this is whippy. It's getting good. Now, one of the things that the marketing team, who just to let you know is a group of 6 people that come together, they put together the formulas, they test them. One of the things they said is, Debbie, we don't like squeaky clean scrubs like you like. We like them more moisturizing, where I like to use a little lotion at the end after I wash. So what they did is they came up with an alternate formula that you can use with this same recipe. You could stop here, package it in your jars, and be good to go, or you can add some moisturizing oils to the recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to add 1.3 ounces of olive oil.
Quick question from Shelly. Will this take white sugar in molasses if, say, she doesn't have any brown sugar in the house?
You can do white sugar. Just you may need to adjust the 4 cups because the sugar is going to be more dense. Start with maybe fewer cups and go up from there. Great question. And let's see. So that was our olive oil. We're going to add 2.65 of sweet almond oil, one of my favorite oils. And we're currently on a kitchen speed of about a 10. Can you see now why I like the KitchenAid mixer versus a hand mixer? For years, I only had a hand mixer. It worked great, but it's a good workhorse. We're going to go ahead and add some vitamin E, 1 ounce. And if I was making this for sale, frankly, and not doing a live video, I'd be scraping all of these out. I'd have a hairnet on. I'd have gloves on. This is just for personal use. So you get to see me in action. And then Phenonip, which is a preservative, is 0.3 ounces. Now the foaming bath whip has a preservative in it. They've added the Phenonip as an additional preservative because of the different oils they added. If you would have stopped at just the foaming bath whip, the fragrance, and the brown sugar, you do not need additional preservative. It's already in the base.
Going off of that preservative, what is the shelf life?
The shelf life of any product should be about 2 years from the time you make it. That gives you about 1 year to get it to the customer and 1 year shelf life to your customer. All of our formulas are formulated in that way.
Can the bath whip be over whipped or over your base?
You could over whip it, which may allow it to sort of fall a little, but in my experience, I've walked away from it for 10 or 15 minutes and it's been fine.
Will there be discoloration from the fragrance oil in the finished product?
Fragrance oils can always discolor somewhat, so that, yes, that can happen. And now what I want to show you is, can you see the beater? So before it was very whippy. Now it's whippy, but it's just a little bit, and that's from the additional oils. You're always going to get that sort of that additional compression with a recipe using the bath whip and when you add additional oils. They just sort of compete with each other, but that's okay because this is filled with luxury.
Question from Sierra, if she uses coffee grounds, how much coffee to sugar would you recommend?
I would add about 10 tablespoons of coffee grounds to this recipe. That's what we tested and it worked great.
Okay. Another question from Vanessa, do you need a binding agent like stearic?
You don't, Vanessa. Stearic acid is an emulsifier for when you mix like oil and water. And in this product, because it's a soap, you really don't need that. If it was a leave-on product, you might be more wise to do that. Now, if I were selling these, I would weigh it before and after. Does anyone have a scale back there? I'll show them ahead of time. Thank you. So we use these digital scales. I'm going to try and do this backwards for all of you. And what you do is you would go ahead and tear out your scale or tar. So get it to, sorry, I got to do it this way. I'm going to get it to ounces. And then you want it with the jar on to say 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill it.
We have a lot of questions about adding different things to the whip. One is, can I add a hard oil to be used with a soft oil, like shea and almond oil?
Absolutely.
The other question is, can we add butter instead of oils?
Absolutely, like a shea butter.
How about a kaolin clay?
Oh, we have an awesome clay. Actually, we have an awesome charcoal mask, but yes, you can add a kaolin clay. So if you were making this and you were going to sell it, this would be 6.35 ounces. You could put a little more, a little less, or you could change the label. You can hand write the weight on the label. But you always want it to be what's on the label should be what's in the container. The weight should not include the container. And again, I just want to show you up close kind of this consistency. It's a beautiful, beautiful scrub. Because of the oils, you get more of a creamy, it's almost like an oil wash. And then this is the one without the oils. Excuse my fingers, it's kind of crude, but it's going home with me. And you can see how it's more of a whippy. And that's the difference in modifying the recipe. Okay, any other questions that you guys have today? All right.
Oh, yes, Liz, it does smell amazing.
Oh, it smells amazing. Makes me want to go to Starbucks. Well, thank you for joining in on today's Facebook Live. Please share the video with your friends and on any of your channels. Also in the comments, any new videos that you'd like to see us either demonstrate new products, new recipes, anything like that. We'd love to hear your suggestions.
One last question from Suzanne. She says, I imagine the one with oils would need a warning label.
It would not need a warning label unless you were taking it in your shower, and you might want to say, you know, shower floor may be slippery, but if you're just using it with your sink, like in your sink and washing your face, you wouldn't need a warning label. I probably would put keep out of eyes. I don't know that I would really use a brown sugar on my face. It's a little bit rough for me. I'm 53 years old, so my skin's not quite as elastic as when I was younger. But you could add a warning label. It wouldn't be required, but it would be very prudent in today's society.
Tamika asks, how can you turn this into scrub cubes?
Scrub cubes, that's an awesome question. That is going to have to be another recipe, because what we actually do is add some melt and pour soap to this and pour them out in a pan and cube it. But I love, love, love the suggestion. And maybe that can be, take a note, that could be our next video.
A video suggestion from Dina is she asked to do a solid bubble bath video.
Ooh, like a bubble cake, Dina? I would love to do that. I was just at Lush scoping out the trends and found some really cool stuff. I like to believe that our bubble cakes look better than theirs. So that's a great idea. I would love to do that.
It will be featured actually in one of the next upcoming Handmade magazines.
The editors tell me like maybe the next magazine?
Not the
upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate tuning in. Mom, if you are there, we are so anxious for you to come back to work. If you guys have been longtime customers, you know Karen in customer service is my mom. She's been in the ICU for about 3 months and is now home. We can't wait for you to come back. That's it. Bye.